Question: why talk about tarot? Why start a YouTube channel devoted to tarot? Well, I want to learn more about it. I've been studying tarot for about 5 years now, and I've hit a point where I've read about as much as I feel like reading. I play with cards every single day, and while I do learn something new every day, I feel like the best course of action for me at this juncture is to start talking about them in front of a camera and hopefully get some ideas from people who want to watch me talk about them in front of a camera so that I can sort of figure out where I'm wrong and maybe where I'm right. You know, that would be really nice if I just say a bunch of things about these cards and people agree with me, but that's not necessarily what I'm trying to do. I really want some nasty YouTube comments to correct my course. Maybe not that nasty. I'm a human being. I have feelies. I still have feelies. So a lot of these sort of introductory works on tarot begin with maybe a genuine appeal to the masses or to whoever's reading or watching to study the cards, learn the cards, use the cards. They're such a valuable tool. And while I agree, I don't necessarily think it's right for everyone because tarot is a very rigid and complicated system, and it's not necessarily that fun for everyone. A lot of people who choose the divinatory path go with Oracle because it's a very open-ended system. It relies a lot on intuition, and I've talked to a lot of people who say that this is a much better conduit for your guides or your angels or, you know, whatever sort of higher order of information you might subscribe to be felt and to be understood and to be communicated. The tarot system is broken into 3 parts. So you have the major arcana, that's the Fool all the way to the universe or the world. That's your card 0 all the way to 21. This is sort of a representation of the pathway to manifestation. So from nothingness to all, and then back to nothingness and back to all again, and so on and so forth. It's sort of an unending cycle. Now, the reason the major arcana are so important is because of the principle of correspondence, or the Hermetic principle of correspondence, which states as above, so below, and as below, so above. So that's sort of why I titled my channel that, is because it's a major, major principle when looking at the tarot. So the major arcana cards have each infinite meanings because there are infinite levels of reality, infinite levels of analysis, and infinite levels of correspondence, really. So the pathway to manifestation can be realized at every level of life, from the inception of an idea to the fruition of action. So maybe starting a business, maybe writing a book, starting a painting, a YouTube channel, or, you know, whatever the experience might be that you're trying to create. So it is a very good way of understanding the creative process at every level of analysis. There are also court cards. Court cards represent the sort of personality aspects of the human being. So the king, queen, knight, and knave, or maybe knight, queen, prince, and princess, as in the Thoth system, which is something that I prefer. These cards each have their own suit, of course, and each suit corresponds to an element. So you have wands, cups, swords, and coins. Now there's going to be a Knight of Coins in the Thoth system, which represents the sort of fire aspects of whatever suit you're talking about. The Queen is going to represent the water aspects of whatever suit you're talking about. The Prince is going to represent the air aspects of whatever suit you're talking about. And then the Princess is going to represent the earth aspects of whatever card you're talking about, or whatever suit you're talking about, rather. Now, the small cards, or minor arcana, you're going to have 10 of each suit, so of course 40 cards, so there's ace through 10. The aces represent the birthplace or origination or root of the power of each of these suits. The 2s through 10s represent the sort of more manifested aspects of those suits. So the 10 of Wands is really just willpower or fire taken to its logical conclusion, which on its own can be pretty catastrophic. And also the same thing goes with the suit of Swords. So the 10 of Swords is a pretty rough card because it represents intellect or skill or the sort of the human ability taken to its logical conclusion without material resources, without willpower, and without the sort of mediating aspects of emotion and care. Now, numerology is hugely important to the minor arcana cards, as are the astrological correspondences that a lot of the Golden Dawn tradition seems to ascribe to them. And what you're seeing in a lot of those, they're not necessarily permanent aspects of creation, although they are aspects of manifestation of each suit. The minor arcana cards usually represent the more temporary aspects of the human experience. Altogether, though, Tarot is a 78-page book that describes the ever-changing, but in some aspects, highly permanent aspects of human consciousness, of creative intelligence, of divine intelligence, divine creation. There are just so many layers to it, which is why it's such an interesting thing to me. You really don't find this level of understanding in any other kind of esoteric system of study. Maybe the more put together mystical systems, maybe even Golden Dawn, but even Golden Dawn relies heavily on the correspondences of tarot. There are two things that are too intermingled to really separate and look at as separate things. So a lot of what I'm going to be talking about on this channel is going to relate to the Golden Dawn correspondences to tarot, because Rider-Waite-Smith, the Crowley-Thoth Tarot by Frida Harris and Aleister Crowley, everything sort of sprouts from those two decks. So you're always going to find your Rider-Waite-Smith based tarot decks, like the Fountain Tarot, and then you're always going to have the sort of more abstract branch of tarot cards based on the Thoth system. A great example is the Tabula Mundi, which we will be looking at on this channel quite a bit because it is one of my favorite decks. I'm not going to be showing you new cards that I unbox. I feel like if I have a deck that I just can't shut up about, I may do a video on it. You can expect a video on the Tabula Mundi. You could probably expect a video on the Fountain Tarot. I am not going to criticize art on this channel. I am not going to criticize card stock on this channel, and I am not going to criticize the aesthetic quality of modern tarot decks on this channel. If I find something interesting that I think would be fun to talk about, I will do it. But good example is this deck right here. This is the Star Tarot. I bought the Star Tarot in 2020, despite all the negative press that it got because of its production quality. It's 78 amazing pieces of art, all just stacked up, and I can carry it in my hand and look at it whenever I want to. I'm not going to complain about how difficult it can be to shuffle. That's just not what this is for. So I hope some of the things that we talk about here are useful to you. I'm going to be putting a lot of effort into write-ups and sort of video essays on all of the major arcana cards. We are going to be looking at aces in their own video, twos in their own video, threes in their own video. Maybe we'll separate the court cards out into their own videos, but I feel like we might end up just doing kings in one video, or maybe the court cards of each suit in one video for the sake of brevity. Now, as it relates to theory, I love tarot theory, so I am probably going to be doing separate videos on certain aspects of tarot theory that I find interesting. or things that I just am not sure about, you will not find concrete answers on this channel. You will find, to put it in a bit of a self-deprecating way, you will find an idiot stumbling through these cards. That's the best that I can do for you. Okay, so that's what I've got. This is the best I can do, is sort of a high-level introduction to what I plan on doing with this channel. I'm going to try to put videos out relatively often, but I'm not going to just put a video out because I need to put a video out. I really want there to be quality on this channel. As you can tell by my lavish studio setup, I take that very seriously. I am not doing this for money. I do have a website that I'm working on to hopefully capitalize on some of the things that I have learned with tarot. I am becoming quite good at readings, but you know, we'll see when we cross that bridge. Anyway, I appreciate you very much for watching. I'll see you soon.